Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here, and welcome to this series that I guess I'm calling Operating Systems Lore. Yeah, this was a spur of the moment thing. So, basically, let me go ahead and explain what I'm going to be doing. For those of you who don't know, I am a computer scientist, or rather, I'm a student studying to be a computer scientist. And one of the classes I'm taking right now is operating systems. Now, there's a bit of a problem with that. Operating systems deals with a lot of facts, and I'm more of an equations kind of guy. So when you put facts in front of me, I can't seem to remember any of it. The way my brain works is, if something's a fact, like you give me a word and there's a definition, it doesn't remember it because it says I can always look that definition up later. Whereas, like, equations, I think I'm going to need that, so it fits well with my brain for some reason. Anyway, because of that, I discovered that I'm not good with facts. There is some area where I actually am good at. Okay, like, I practice these opening speeches over and over and over again, and then every time I click record, like, they never come out the way I want them to. Anyway, that little tangent is over. As I was saying, I don't remember facts well, in case you haven't gotten that. I don't remember facts well, unless it's dealing with lore. I know a lot about Avatar: The Last Airbender. I know a lot about League of Legends. I know a lot about things that do not exist in this world. So, basically, what I decided was, I'm going to study operating systems, but I'm going to do it by turning the concept into a story. For those of you who follow me on Picard, you know I love making stories. I love making characters. I do it all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to take you guys with me. I got a couple of goals that I want to do with this. One, I want to study. Two, I want to help anybody out there who's studying. If you're studying operating systems too, that's fantastic. But just anybody who's studying in general, to see that there's lots of different ways you can study, lots of creative ways. If studying the usual way works for you, that's fine. I'm not going to judge you on that. But studying the usual way for me, for just definitions, just does not work. But this has helped me, so I'm going to. And another thing another one of my goals is, I want people to understand that you can make a story out of anything. Like, anything. And I not everybody's good at it, but I've been doing it for a long time. I don't know if I'd say I'm good at it, but I have fun doing it. So, I've already got some things started, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that. But we're gonna start doing this. And before I forget, let me say this. If I have to, I'll do this whole thing by myself. But I would love some suggestions, some participation from people, because this would be awesome if I could make this world, make this lore with other people. So if you have any suggestions and how to change the story or make it better, or just anything like that, go ahead, leave comments. I would be really excited to see anything. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I've wasted like 5 minutes, or I don't know how long. So basically, when I write a story, whenever I start writing a story, it's kind of random what comes first. Sometimes it's the world, sometimes it's the character. For this one, it's the world. So I'm wanting it to take place in a city, and I'm just going to start basic. I'm going to call that city Computer. Okay. City. This story takes place in. Let me, I'm going to bold that. Alright. Bold that, and I'm going to put this, I don't know, call these terms. World terms. I was thinking maybe something like system, but I don't really want to call it system. And that's the basic broadness. What I'm thinking in my head is a really futuristic-y type city. Kind of like a reboot situation, but with better graphics than they had in Reboot. And I've already got a protagonist in mind. One thing I say about stories is it's really important that you get your characters down, at least their traits. And I'm going to call this character Opper. Actually, Opper is not a world term. Opper is going to be a character. Opper, you get to be a character. Okay. Opper. Short for operating system, but we won't tell anybody that. Okay? The protagonist. Now let's get this girl. It's going to be a girl. Usually when I write stories, it's, I've had some time to think about this. And usually when I write stories, I usually do male protagonists because I can relate to the males more. And a lot of times I like to put myself in situations. And last I checked, I wasn't a female. So it's easier to do that with a male. But this time, I'm going to do a female. I'm going to do a female protagonist. And so let's put that in, the female protagonist. And oh, by the way, if you hear rain, that kind of tends to happen like just before I start recording. So, yeah. All right. So I'm just calling her Opper, and because she's gonna be the operating system is the main focus, so she's gonna be the main focus. I'm picturing like I have for some reason a human version of Judy Hopps from what's that movie called? Zootopia. My nose is itchy. From Zootopia. That's how I'm picturing her in my head. Like, but I think I'm gonna make her older. So let's see. And I don't know if she should be wearing blue because this person is not gonna be a cop. What is she gonna be? This person is gonna be more like a mayor kind of thing. So, gray hair. Let me give her gray hair. I want her to say mid-30s to mid-40s because she's gonna be like a really responsible kind of person. So usually I make my characters really young, or at least I make them look young. I'm gonna do something different this time. So she's gonna look to be in her mid-30s, mid-40s. I guess that's still kind of young. I just realized I called anybody in their mid-30s to mid-40s old. No, that's still kind of young. You're still kind of under the hill. You're not that young, but you're young. So she's going to look at her mid-30s, mid-40s. Let's give her some characteristics. I want her to have gray eyes as well. That's not is that a character considered a characteristic? I want her to have gray eyes. Again, I have this like humanoid version of Judy Hopps in my brain for some reason. I can change it as I go along. I probably should have did this first. Make these bullet points. Gray eyes, gray hair, gray eyes, mid-30s to mid-40s. I'm gonna make her athletic because she's gonna be moving about a lot, taking care of computer. Excuse me, my allergies. Like this happens all the time when I start recording or when I start streaming. My allergies just start acting up, just out of nowhere. I don't know if maybe it's because I start setting things up that are dusty but like, yeah. I was streaming with Mad Munchkin. Oh no, Maddie was streaming. I was just there, and I was just sniffing all up into the mic. Okay, so she's gonna be athletic, and since she's gonna be in charge of the place, I want to make her responsible, reliable. She's a very busy person, so constantly moving. Constantly moving. So she's gonna be a gold. For those of you who don't know the color personality, there's green, gold, orange, blue. Those are the four main ones that I go by. There's a bunch of different charts that'll tell you a bunch of different color personalities. I go by those four. If you read Wiggerlog, which is my novel on DeviantArt, those colors should sound familiar. Gold generally means somebody who can take charge or enjoys being in charge. So yeah, she's gonna be a gold, gold, green. Make her gold, green, blue, orange. Maybe I should make her second most strong character trait a blue. And just as a reminder, gold, leadership, green, logic, blue, emotion, orange, excitement. Now, let's give her a Myers-Briggs personality. Actually, I want her to be an extrovert. She's going to be an extrovert. Which is weird because she's gold green, and you generally wouldn't see those as extroverts. But she's going to be an extrovert. Let's see. And then what comes after that? Extrovert. There's extrovert, introvert. Then there's intuition or something else. Let me look it up right quick. Oh, is it sensing? I thought sensing was another category. Yeah, I guess it's sensing. So intuition or sensing? This is the one I always struggle with. The sensing or the intuition. I believe a sensing is somebody who's left-brained, who's more inclined to facts. Do we want to deal with the facts, or do we want her to think about patterns and possibilities? Because she's in a computer. For now, I'm going to make her intuition. But we can always change that later. She's going to be thinking. She's definitely going to be thinking. And the opposite of that is feeling. And is she judgment or is she perceptive? Is she judging or is she perceptive? She's got to be judging. She's got to be organized. Judging. Okay, so that's what we got for our female protagonist, Opper, so far. She's got gray hair, gray eyes. She's mid-30s to mid-40s. I didn't write down. She's gonna have a blue officer-looking outfit. Just because, you know, officers show a sign of authority. She's not gonna be an officer, and I'm probably gonna change that. And is she gonna be average height, average female height? Oh, what's she gonna be? Do I want to make her a race, or do I just want to make her like metallic? I'm thinking I should make her Asian. Some form of Asian. Make her Asian. All these we can change later. It's just good to write them all down. Whenever you're making any kind of story, it's good to have... I thought the official term was called a Bible, because I heard the creators of Justice League call it that, but... that might have been just something they made up. Basically, you want to document all the stuff that's gonna go into your story. So you want to document the lore, you want to document the back story and whatnot, etc., etc. So this is what we have for her so far: gray hair, gray eyes, mid-30s to mid-40s. She looks Asian. She's got a blue officer-looking outfit. Average female height, athletic, responsible, reliable, constantly moving. Gold, green, blah, 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 blah. Oh, we gave her some positive traits, but she needs some negative ones. So, because she's constantly moving, do I want to say she misses small details easily? More concerned with big picture. So I don't want to think she doesn't think about the small details, because she's supposed to be an operating system, so she's supposed to be thinking about the details. But we got to give her some flaws. And so I'll say she's more concerned with the big picture than the details. Only when the details affect the big picture does she interact now. She's gonna be bossy. She's gonna be very bossy. That is demanded. I want her to be bossy. What else do we have? My chair is very squeaky, by the way. What else? Doesn't let go of power easy. Easy, because she's gonna be directing a lot of different things, but when you get an operating system doesn't control everything. It controls a good chunk, but it doesn't control everything. But I think that's good for now. So we have Opper, the female protagonist, blah 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 blah. I've said that so many times. Now, I'm going to take a drink of water. And now let's get some of these terms. So we got computer. Let's look at some of the terms I already have set up. The first one is the word algorithm. I got the freaking italicized one. Algorithm. Now, an algorithm in operating systems is generally used to describe a complex problem-solving mechanism. That's a horrible definition for it, I think. So we're gonna make algorithm just a generic term. It's gonna be a generic term used to describe a plan or a system. That's what that's gonna be. So basically, when two characters are talking, and they're talking about things working in order or something, they'll just say algorithm. Like, let's say something's going wrong. Opera will say, "There's something wrong with the algorithm." Just that was very generic. Let's say there's like a power outage in the city. Opera will say generically, "There's something wrong with the algorithm." And maybe if she was standing next to a very smart alecky character, they'd probably respond with, "Oh, you think?" You know, because it's a very generic statement. It's like just screaming out in the world, something's wrong, basically. Alright, so next we got bit. This is a very simple term, which I will be using for, it's going to be like a type of energy. In computers, I should explain to you guys what a bit is. In computers, pretty much, that's the most basic form of measurement in computers. So everything in a computer is made of bits, ones and zeros. It's either a 1 or a 0. And you know, there's bytes too. Put that in parentheses, bytes. And our story is going to be a type of energy. Kind of like magic or mana or electricity or anything like that. Or maybe like atoms, although atoms are not a form of energy. They're a form of matter. So maybe not a type of energy, a type of building block. Yeah, everything is made of bits. And they're tangible. We make them tangible, unlike atoms. Well, I guess technically atoms are tangible, but we can't do anything about them unless we have fancy science equipment. So let's see. Opper is a control program. Like that. Control program. A control program is a type of program that runs a computer, or it pretty much enforces different connections between users and softwares, and that's what operating systems are. So this is going to be Opper's occupation. Opper's occupation. control program is a type of authority that runs in computer. I should capitalize that. Maybe I should just call it comp. So if I keep calling it computer, I'm going to get confused. We'll call this city comp. Or maybe pewter. Ooter. Ampu. No, we're not calling it Ampu. That runs in comp. It protects and enforces the connection between users and software. Now, what is users in software? Because that brings up a question. Opper, it is a type of software. She's an operating system. Now, does that mean we want to create more? Like, what kind of race is Opper? I think for that there's a term. Oh yeah, there's a term. Computer system structure. Yeah. This is gonna be like, I don't know. Kind of like a well-known and defined concept within the world. Basically, what it means in operating systems is that it's the I want to say hierarchy, but that's not a good example. It's the structure. I can't use structure. That's in the word. That is the #1 rule of defining things. You can't use the word in the definition. Nobody will know what you're talking about. And this should go up here. But as I was saying, what it is in operating system terms is the how a computer is classified, how the components of a computer is classified. Basically, there's hardware, the operating system, application programs, and users. So I'm going to type that. The classification system, which citizens of comp are classified. Hardware, operating system, application programs, user. And what's interesting about the is that the operating system, you know, it seems like Opper is going to be somebody who's really, really, really important, kind of like an archangel is to the angels. But that doesn't mean there can't be other operating systems. Because you can have more than one operating system in your computer. That would actually be an interesting concept. Say, like, there was an old operating system, and Opper was learning from it or something. And I think you guys are getting the gist of what I'm trying to go with here. I want to take the concepts of operating systems and turn it into a story. Because I can remember. I can remember that an algorithm is a generic term used to describe a plan. And then I can correlate that to what's going on in operating systems in general. So this video has been a long one. I'm just gonna see. This video has been long, so I have to do a bunch of explaining. I'm gonna see how this video goes. Tell me if you guys like it or if you don't. If you have suggestions, please leave them in the comments. I want to see suggestions to make this story better. I would love to work on this story with other people. But yeah, this is just something I want to do to kind of help me get into studying this subject that I kind of need to know if I want to do what I want to do. And now I'm trying to think of a good outro, but I can't think of one. But the episodes after this will probably be a lot shorter. Just because there will be a lot less explaining and whatnot. And I've still got a few predefined terms that I've already thought about and want to incorporate into the story. Yeah. But, yeah. That's it. So long. Farewell. I'd be to say goodbye.